Hello, good evening students. Today I am going to discuss social perception in the context of non-verbal social perception or non-verbal communications or non-verbal context. So as we know that we are not only communicate in verbal frame but also we communicate in the form of non-verbal language. So as we know non-verbal language the communication took place more than 65%. According to psychologists, verbal communication is around 40% of communication, and non-verbal communication is nearby around 65%, yeah, 60%. So that we can understand the importance of non-verbal communication or non-verbal perception is very important in understanding the social psychology or in social context. So why we have to understand non-verbal communication? It is also very important in impression formation. How we look, the way we walk, our gesture, our eye contact, our emotions also play vital role in our social life or social interaction. So especially it is very important component of social communication, as I already told you. It's very important and we have to develop a certain part of, we have to improve the way we are communicating with the society. And also with sometimes it occurs with intention, sometimes it occurs without intention. That means it can be explicit sometime, it can be implicit sometime. So we have to understand in what time it become explicit or what time it become implicit. So it is also very important. The main channels of non-verbal communication, like facial expressions, eye contact, and other body gestures. So it's also very important, like body movements, like kinesthetic way, how we move the body, and posture, and touching, that means touching, haptic perceptions, like haptic way of behavior. So these are very important part of our non-verbal perception, yeah, non-verbal communication, or in the context of non-verbal communication in the context of social perception. So it's very important, and most of the day-to-day communication take place in social context. For example, if we are in discussing with some social gatherings, or whether we are discussing with some peer groups, or whether we are purchasing something in the market, or we are going to temple with close friends. So any kind of communication, any kind of group communication generally create a social context. That social context really influence the way we are behaving, the way we presenting ourselves, as a form of social communication, as a form of non-verbal communication. So it's very important, and especially for when it comes to emotion, expression of our emotions. So non-verbal communication, non-verbal expressions are very important. Like for example, when we become angry, and it should be shows that we are in angry. We can't predict for a long time that artificial what you can say, artificial way of expression cannot work for a long time. So it is visible in our facial expressions. So basic facial expression are very common, and it is expressed in the form of non-verbal expressions, non-verbal communication. And like even the gestures are also different kinds of gestures also we use to utilize that. For example, gestures, the way hand waving, and you say the okay, and sometimes we use the word, this kind of thing. So these are signs, actually these are very important, though it look very simple. Like victory, we use the V sign. So this is a very simple but outwardly it looks like, but it gives a lot of meaning to our day-to-day life. So there are number of gestures in day-to-day life. You can also correlate with that. We are all familiar with the number of gestures. So, and paralinguistic, there is also a separate study for this in psychology, like paralinguistic, context. Like for example, tone of voice, or you can say loudness, or like pitch, voice pitch, the way we are presenting our presentation. If we are speaking too much pitch, it cannot be bearable. It cannot be acceptable some audience. So you have to be understand your pitch. It should be very to the mark, and it should be very pleasing. So you have to be understand whenever you suppose if you want to speak something, you have to look into this context, like my pitch, whether my pitch is correct, and whether I am my voice modulation. Generally we say we need to be voice modulation training to when we are speaking, so it cannot be extreme voices are not allowed. So in non-verbal way, if you want to count that. So body language and postures are very important. You have to be keeping these points also very important. So these are all very important, like eye gaze also very important. The way we are looking straight, and suppose we are looking like this, like the way we are looking, the directions also very important. And social perception and cognitions are the mental process, like it's basically these are all kind comes under the mental process. Because of this mental process, that all our non-verbal language influence. So you have to understand, that's what today I want to just explain these things: non-verbal communication or non-verbal social perception. Like in a sense, we perceive others non-verbal behavior, and also try to give meaning for that. So it is also a part of social perception. And most of the social interaction take place in as I already told in the beginning, more than 65% of the communication take place in the non-verbal format and with different social context. So that is the reason to understand non-verbal communication really improves our way we communicating in social interaction. So you have to understand as a social psychology for examination purpose, what is the importance of non-verbal communication or non-verbal social interactions in day-to-day social psychology. So this is what I wanted to today give you some picture of non-verbal communication as another important part of social perception. According before concluding, I would like to inform you, we are running a very wonderful online coaching classes, 6-month online coaching classes, which are based on our YouTube classes also. With apart from that, we are also giving a previous year question paper practice, and also we also use interactive classes more into, and we will clear all the doubts. Okay, so if anyone want to join, we are going to give the number in the description box. And apart from that, please share my video to your friends group, those who needy, definitely will get benefit. And also please don't forget to subscribe if you are very new to these videos, so that further videos can also come to you on the time, and so your preparation will get boost. So thank you so much for watching videos, and have a nice day. Thank you so much.